one thing I want to say about the philosophical prank thing first, if I may, is why would somebody spend 16 years bitterly complaining about being persecuted, which I have been doing ever since 1975, in order to lay the groundwork for a philosophical prank? You know, and who but a monster would be joking about something like genocide? I'm talking about a Nazi conspiracy that I think is extant to this day, that I think has survived since World War II. That the CIA, the FBI, the United States government, and the mafia were involved. However, the people that knew what was going on were I think it was a organization General Galen organized. Reinhard Galen, it was called, and there's books that prove this. This is not just something I heard somewhere.
Okay.
This is written in the history books. He formed an organization called the Society for the Prevention of Criminal Stupidity. When Hitler asked him to give him only good news, he didn't want to hear any more bad news.
Okay.
As chief of intelligence, right? So anyway, Galen became disillusioned with Hitler, not with Nazism, just with Hitler, and organized something called the Society for the Prevention of Criminal Stupidity. I think they're the people that assassinated Kennedy. I think they decided I was criminally stupid. I think they decided Kennedy was criminally stupid. I think they decided Oswald was criminally stupid. And I think they decided, all right, not to mention a lot of other people, let's dump on them.
Okay. And do you feel like that you were singled out or used? Do you feel you escaped being used? Or do you think your involvement was just a coincidence?
Both. You know, it's like, first of all, I feel like I've been being used since long before the Kennedy assassination in ways that range from the most traditional and believable to the science fiction almost. But it's like, I could not tell you to this day whether the people who killed Kennedy were using me or rescuing me. Like I say, I hated Kennedy at the time myself. You know. I suspect, I've got a lot of theories about it, involving German breeding experiments and what have you. Like the young men that were of the age to enter the military, many of them were of the age to have been raised in German breeding experiments. And I think there was a collision as all these young men who they've been raising very carefully and spying on all their lives began to enter the Marine Corps and so on and so forth. I think there was a collision between the government and the Nazis, where the Nazis had to get rid of a few people in order to cover up the breeding experiments. Kennedy might have been one of them. One of the theories that I've heard that one of my close friends maintains, who studied the matter a great deal, particularly the thing about breeding experiments, he thinks Marilyn Monroe told John Kennedy about the breeding experiments, and that's why they killed both of them. I don't know. You know, stuff like that is within the realm of possibility, but I don't want to go into it too much because I sound like a nut, and a lot of it is speculative.
Okay, speaking of sounding like a nut, let's bring out another part of this possible explanation of why this conspiracy would have been motivated in the first place. You mentioned in your book the Dreadlock Recollections, where this brother-in-law alleged some kind of involvement with a motor that would eliminate the need for using
oil or fossil fuels or uranium. Fossil fuels or uranium,
either one. You suspected at some time that
the Nazis were working on alternative sources of energy, as anybody who's read the book called The Formula or seen the movie knows. Toward the end of World War II, they had 14, it says in the formula, I forget the exact number, there was a number of plants generating synthetic fuel in Germany during the war. Anyhow, a lot of these Nazis disappeared with their secrets toward the end of the war. They were not able to meet the problem that Hitler wanted them to solve most urgently, which was the Eastern Front, where they were running out of fuel. However, after they got out, they went ahead and kept working on their inventions, and pretty soon brought a number of them around, as I understand it, around to where they could produce energy without fossil fuels or uranium, cheap, non-polluting energy. And as far as I can tell, they simply blackmailed the oil-producing countries. I think they're still being blackmailed by Nazis. I think Israel is just being set up in a circle.